fading into the background. Our next chapter is all about turning up the volume on you.
Bold frames, smart makeup, and the confidence to walk into any room and own it. Today, we're proving that after 50, you're not invisible, you're unforgettable.
Welcome to Next Chapter Chats, the podcast rewriting the script on life after 50 and what it really looks like. Today's episode is about literally being seen. After decades of making an impact, raising families, leading change, visibility, how we are perceived and how we present ourselves remains essential. Sort of goes without saying. Visibility isn't vanity. It's relevance. It's self-definition. It's staying, I'm still here, I'm still vibrant, I'm still a force.
Yes, you are.
Today, Penelope and I are joined by two powerhouse guests. We have Wendy Buchanan and Deborah Williams for an honest look in the mirror. Literally.
Thanks, Pat.
Welcome.
Whether you've been wearing glasses since grade school or just bought your first pair of readers, our eyes are changing as we age. And when they change, how we frame them, both literally and figuratively, matters. I'm excited to introduce our first guest, Wendy Buchanan, an eyewear image expert who helps women find frames that don't just improve vision, but amplify presence. Her work is all about color, shape, and style that speaks volumes without a single word. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I get the gift, I guess, of being able to introduce our second guest, Deborah Williams. She's a makeup artist to the stars. She's also an author and an educator. She believes that beauty isn't about covering up, but bringing forward the features that tell a story. She's mastered the art of adapting techniques for our changing skin, ensuring that our eyes stay bright, defined, and full of expression. Deborah, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
Wendy, I've got to confess, I've spent years second-guessing some of my glass choices. What looks great under store lights doesn't always feel right a month later. For women like us who've spent a lifetime making decisions with confidence, why is it so hard when it comes to something as personal as eyewear? And you do help women like us choose frames they'll still love in 6 months? I'm in.
For years, some people wear their eyewear for 10 years because when we get your style right, it doesn't go off trend. It doesn't go in a drawer in 2 years. You don't donate it.
Oh.
It's you in the right colors, the right shapes, but it's that what I call spec style, which is all encompassing. It's the way you walk, the way you talk, how you want to show up, how you want it to be perceived is really important too, because what you're doing now might not be where you're going for that next chapter. And so knowing what that looks like helps us narrow down the right style for you in the right colors that you stand taller, you look great, you feel, it's a feeling. Eyewear is a feeling. They're not just a functional appliance. It's when you put them on, it's like, whoa, these feel great. You get complimented, and compliments are wonderful. They make us feel good. But at the core, you have to know it's you. If you second guess, then you're going to ask your friend, do you think these look good on me?
Exactly.
And if your friend's a completely different style than you, they're going to give their opinion, which isn't your style. So you have to own it. You have to know what that style is. And that's what we do. We break it down into all of those elements so that you're confident when you walk out the door with them.
Oh, I love this.
There's a really good question that's been raised here. What I found in talking to a lot of women, and I know this from myself, once we start moving into this next chapter, what we want to be, who we want to be, may have changed. So if you've had a really conservative, ladylike, persona, that actually might start changing as you get older. So when you're talking to your guests, how do you, is there a process that you go through to get somebody to say, yeah, I'm going to try something that's a little bit out there for me?
Yeah. Well, we talk about color. Color is crucial because a lot of people default to black and tortoiseshell because they don't know what else to do, or they're buying it online and that's what's available. So that's where they go. But we dress in a palette of colors that look good on us. And when we know what those colors are, that's one of the first steps in being confident in moving into color. And then, digging deeper. Where is it that you want to go? How do you want to show up in the next decade, the next chapter? And really digging deep into that. So it's not just a lifestyle question. It's really going into more of who you want to be now. Okay. And that if there is a corporate, you've had to put on a corporate presence for years because of your job, that you now have the freedom to really dig, what are my other aspects? Because the corporate personality is likely not going to completely go away. We still have to honor maybe sections of that, but then what else is there? Is there a little bit of creativity? Is there a little bit of romanticism? Is there a little bit of drama or funkiness that you want to present?
You know what? And if not now, then when? Right?
Life's too short to wear boring glasses.
These are close to 10 years old. These are close to, and these are corporate.
Yeah.
And they're my go-to because they're just so familiar. But can I pick these up?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I came in and saw these, oh my gosh, I just had to. But look, it's
an entirely
fun.
Different look, and it is fun.
It's color. It gives life, and literally, I'm 71. If not changing styles now, then when?
Well, and it just, it didn't take away from your eye color. It actually enhanced your eye color. So it made your eyes kind of pop out. It works with the purple streaks you have. It's a complementary color, which I'm sure Deborah's going to bring into this too with eye makeup. And so it's looking at those details.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else about it gave you a lift.
Yes.
It lifts us up. Like we don't need to do anything else but get the right color in the right shapes. And it's a mini facelift.
Ooh, I like that.
And we're still kind of in the paradigm of one pair of glasses.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking, there's a price involved here because a lot of really good glasses cost money. But most people, big gross statement here, by the time we get to this age, our eyes have kind of stabilized. They're not, your prescription's not changing constantly. So if you get one pair of glasses this year, you can get another pair of glasses next year. And it doesn't mean putting the first ones away. It just means now you're starting to build a wardrobe.
Exactly.
I like a wardrobe.
Exactly.
It's
yes.
Yeah. And you can repurpose the frames. So if you look at it from an investment aspect too, that if you've got the right frames and they're not going in a drawer or being donated in 2 years, if your prescription does change, we just put in new lenses.
Oh my
gosh. You're not, because the frames will last when you're buying quality and you love them, you're going to wear them a long time.
Well, I know my cousin-in-law has literally, she looks like she's gone into an eyeglass store herself. She has trays, usually drawers with proper trays.
Fabulous.
And she does a cool thing. She actually goes around the world on her travels and goes to see what she finds and will buy a pair of frames wherever and bring them back and then have the prescriptions filled
when you think about it, they're front and center. They're the first thing that people see when they meet you. You meet someone, you shake their hand, they look into your eyes, you start to build a relationship.
Yes.
So the eyewear is front and center. And a lot of us will invest huge in a pair of shoes, huge in having 10 handbags, but one pair of glasses. And yet the glasses are the first thing
they're a fashion accessory.
Yeah. Now, we can make sure that it matches your handbags and your shoes. But it's hard to get one pair that fits every aspect of your personality too. So you might have that black pair that you love that's big and chunky and that's in contrast, but then there's other times, like I know Penelope wears a lot of formal, goes to a lot of formal events. Well, tortoiseshell isn't formal. It's a relaxed, natural vibe. So we need to step it up or elevate it, just like you elevated your gown that you might wear to that event.
I have a question and a comment. I interviewed Susie Lang, who is a phenomenal photographer of women 55 plus or 60 plus, I think she says, world renowned. And when I look at her images and I see the women that really look amazing, they almost all have great, bold glasses.
Yeah.
Like I'd advise anybody who wants to take a look at this because it really leans into this idea that once we are no longer constrained by what our professional life may have, whether it was all in our head or whether it actually was in corporate outlines, we can be us. We can be who we want to be. And to be older means that we have the right, we have the confidence, the ability to really lean into and be that person that we always wanted to be.
And probably why you're seeing them wearing bold glasses too is you want to be noticed when you walk into a room. And eyewear can do that for you. Eyewear attracts people. Like nice eyewear, it's amazing the people that you meet because of your eyewear.
Yes.
And I have a client who sadly just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, no.
And she had cataract surgery and didn't need eyewear anymore.
Right.
And she lasted about 2 months. And she came back and she said, could you just put lenses in all of my frames because no one's talking to me anymore. She was fair skin, gray hair, light eyes. And so she said without
and
the
funky glasses,
she just blended. And with the glasses, she said on every continent she traveled, she met interesting people because of her eyewear.
I like that because I know that when I walk, I mean, I've got a wardrobe of glasses.
Yeah.
I got two that are different colors. I got ones that are pink rose inside with bone on the outside. The others are black with clear on the inside, but they're both identical. But I mean, I'm always getting compliments on my glasses because I love glasses. I always have a signature black pair, but I also have other bone color and other colors. And I agree, color is everything.
Yeah.
So let me ask you then about, because we have makeup, eyes are the windows to the soul, and glasses. So if one is I just had a thought in that, as you mentioned, with bold glasses and lipstick, you don't need makeup.
I do that many days.
Is that, as our leading makeup artist, is that something you would...
Well, I mean, for me, my most important thing is foundation and lips, and I always wear glasses. I mean, my prescription is so mild now, I don't need them for driving, but I continually want my frames and even that tiny little bit of seeing better, I'll take.
I think they give you a bit of confidence.
I love
That's what I'm hearing.
And it is a fashion statement.
Yes.
I truly believe.
I have a great question for you, Deborah. What about, is there anything we should alter with makeup when you are wearing glasses for eye makeup?
Well, I think you and I were talking, Penelope, about that. I don't really change a lot with the glasses. Of course, you can, depending on how large the actual lenses are, right? I mean, some show more of your eyes than others. Super important to do your brows because that's part of the frame. Just like the glasses have frames, you want to frame your eyes. So I think that's important. I don't do a lot differently because I don't think you need to put more makeup on because of the glasses. I think you just want to balance it out. But it is. But
can you have less?
Well, I mean, it's like you're wearing glasses, probably sunglasses. You can wear no makeup. I would still wear makeup, but of course, glasses are going to create a little bit of a barrier. So, of course, if I was going to do anything, it would be glasses and lipstick and foundation. I wouldn't do my eyes, put glasses on and no lips.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about makeup, so let me ask you about our skin is changing constantly. So as we're at this stage in life, What in the eyes?
Mhm.
What in particular are your tips? Your top 3 to 5 tips
For
for our viewers for accenting your eyes without overdoing it, but giving them, a little bit of a lift or a zhuzh?
well, I think for your eye, again, brows.
Okay.
I think brows are super important because they frame the eyes. But it's like, I wouldn't start with the eyes. In other words, there's not one thing that's going to give you your best look. It's a series of steps. And the first thing I do is color.
Mhm.
Color is the most important thing. So if you're...
In what way?
Because if you're working against your natural coloring, like everybody's warm or cool.
Okay.
Everybody's on a spectrum of either warm or cool,
Okay.
right? And most people have a dominant warm or cool, and they have a season that they're in. It was in the 70s. I've got my mother's booklet from the 70s when she did it, which I think is wonderful. And now I'm doing it fully because I really believe that colors, if you're working against your natural coloring, nothing's going to ever look its best, right?
Does coloring change? I think this is a really important topic. Does coloring change as we get older? Because I'm finding I am fading, just generally fading more than I was before.
Well, I would say 25 years ago, or even 30 years ago, I was an autumn, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. My hair was bright, bright red.
Mm-hmm.
My hair is natural. It's faded.
Yes.
So I've shifted. I'm still warm. I will always be warm. But I've really shifted into more of a true spring. Which I would say for a redhead, I think they're probably the ones that would change the most.
They do.
Because, we really sort of fade down. So you're not going to change, chances are you're not going to change your undertone.
Okay.
If you're cool in 20 years ago, you're still going to be cool now. If you're warm, you're going to be warm. But you might shift. You can change that season that's warm. You might go like I did, autumn to spring, which is not really usual. Or within your season that you've been defined as, say, 20 years ago, you'll be moving into other colors. That will be your wow colors.
I have no idea what my season is.
Well,
or was for that matter.
Yeah, well, that would be an interesting, it's really fun to do. But as we're getting older and you're doing your seasons, I always do a preliminary. So if someone who's older, I'm not just going to say, come to my studio and I'll drape you. I'm going to say, I want to see pictures of you as a child. What color was your hair as a child? In your teenage years, your 30s and your 40s, because it changes.
Oh, yeah.
So as it changes, it can become more difficult to define someone, say my age. I'm 70. So
I'm 67.
Right. So it becomes more difficult to define it because other things are interfering with it. Like our skin does become finer. Our hair has changed. We very often dye it. You want to...
Comes out of a bottle.
Right. So that's why I need the historical pictures, because that's going to give me, as much as people say, well, I've dyed it my same color. Color is a very, very sensitive thing.
Yes.
So it's very difficult to duplicate your younger shade in a bottle. So I really want to look at your natural shade as you're going through the decades. And then when you come to me, I really do the preliminary. So when you come, I know where we're headed.
That is interesting because I've always actually had difficulty with a lot of color.
Okay.
Hence the reason I have blacks. What I found with me and color, and especially on screen, is that I look better in what were called the true jewel tones. Like I don't look good in a light
pastel.
Oh, I look horrible in pastels.
But are you talking in front of a camera or just
generally? But it really gets amplified in front of a camera. I look okay in dark jewel tones. Like if it's going to be a purple, it has to be a really deep purple. If it's going to be a blue, it has to be a very deep, almost midnight blue.
It's well, I would be curious to do your colors because I would say the only people that can really successfully wear black are winters. And I'm not, here's my other philosophy. It's like, I believe that once you know the rules, you can break them.
Yes.
So once you really know where you land, then you can, there's nothing saying wrong to bring other colors in that might not be, but you love them.
Yes.
But I think you have to know what you are first.
Yes.
And I suspect you're not a winter.
I have no idea.
So I was a winter in the 80s.
Okay.
And wore black all the time. Black and white was my wardrobe. My
Right.
mom used to say, "You're so well prepared for a funeral, but what about anything else, darling?" And now, and I'm 71.
Mm-hmm.
I found in my 60s, I started feeling drained, or I felt that I looked drained when I put black. So I would start wearing black, but lower or colored jewelry or heavy silver jewelry to accent. But then I started playing with color, as we are today, and the more I played, the more I was curious and loved it.
Yeah.
And now I hardly ever wear black.
No, I've
Unless
actually-
it's
yeah,
on the
never seen-
bottom or shoes.
Yeah, and I totally agree with Deborah on breaking the rules, because there's
Yes.
times we're going to break rules to honor your personality.
Right. Well, that's
Good
That's a
point.
really good way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it, I think.
Mhm.
So, yeah. But it's really nice to know where you are, where you really are.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
And then,
to see.
yeah, it's a
actually-
really fun exploration.
Especially, funnily enough, I use dye to generally darken my hair up because it goes so light in the sun. And I'm outside. I don't know. I'm meant to be in the sun. I'm not meant to be in cool, dark, rainy places.
Well, you're in the right season.
I was going to say. Anyhow, you had commented that the most important thing was foundation and lips.
I think the most important thing is to even out your skin tone.
Okay.
And that's the only job of a foundation.
Yes.
Right.
So what kind of foundations do you use? Because this is a problem I have.
Mhm.
I tend to wear like a CC type cream as opposed to a proper foundation because
Right.
I'm finding it's too mattifying. It's
Right.
too, they just don't work. And it doesn't matter whether I'm talking cheap from the drugstore
Right.
or I'm talking, generally speaking, I used to use Chanel all the
Okay.
time.
Right.
So
I'd love
as
to
we
hear
age,
this.
how does this work?
Well, I think as we age, our skin changes. Obviously, it probably becomes
It's collagen-free.
We lose moisture in our
Mhm.
skin, so we want to replace it with hyaluronic acid, and so we want to take care of our skin. But I think a lot of women have not worn foundation for years, and because it either felt like it was suffocating their skin, or it felt like it didn't feel good on their skin. Now, I've always worn it, even because I always felt it as a protection for my skin, as opposed to a suffocating feeling. Now, I also will say that in the last number of years, there's so many different kinds of formulations of foundation that you're going to find one that works.
How?
Well, you have to go to someone who can really identify your coloring. I mean, I use a brand that, actually, I use a lot of powder foundation. And people go, well, as you're getting older, powder's the worst thing. Well, no, it's not, depending on the quality of the powder. And if the powder does not have talc in it, then it's not going to absorb that moisture. It's going to retain that moisture. And I've had no one that's come into my studio after I've put on the foundation who have said, oh, this feels heavy. It doesn't. It feels light. It just feels like you put in moisturizer on your face, right, in the morning. I think foundation should feel that way. I don't think foundation should feel like you're suffocating. I think your foundation should just feel good on your skin. And it's only there to even it out, because I feel my philosophy is once you even out your skin tone, then you can draw attention to what you like.
Yeah.
Your eyes.
Your eyes, your cheeks, your lips, whatever it is. Everybody has their go-tos. For me, it's lips. I want my lips on. For other people, it's mascara. For other people, it's eyeliner. For other, everybody's got their sort of really important things that they love. So you don't have to do everything. When I give a lesson, I go through every single step, right? But
Is that
you don't
in here?
have to use a lesson.
Is that in the book? Are those tips in this book?
Yeah, that book is basically a lesson in a book.
Okay.
And it's very user friendly.
Okay.
So
good
it
to know.
really sort of explains. I start off with color because that is the first step.
I love the name of your book, The
The
Grace
Grace
Factor. It is so
It's
on
brilliant.
point.
It's it's an easy read, and it's really one of the only books out there that really addresses women over 50 as opposed to being the last chapter in the book. And that's the whole thing. Makeup for mature women. It's usually don't put on as much, don't use shine, don't do this, don't do that. It's not about that.
Break the rules.
Yeah, you got to
Well, create your own rules.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really about how you put your makeup on. It's not when you're younger. It doesn't matter if what you do because youth will take you wherever you want to go, and it doesn't. You don't have any flaws, so you don't have to do different techniques. So as we get older, the techniques we used or how we did our makeup 20 years ago isn't working anymore, and you can't figure out why. So you need someone to show you those techniques. And
Yeah.
that's what it's about. Just knowing how to apply the makeup in the right techniques.
Oh, I mean, the standards that we go through. As we age, our brows become heavier. The eyes can become more sunken. That's not even talking about smile lines and such around the eyes. The nasal labial fold can become more and a bit jowly. How do I place blush? If I try to follow today's trends of placing blush, it's like you can't see it because it's like up here. It's like we need to know how to do that for us at this stage.
And as an individual, because
Yes.
your facial features are different than Penelope's and
Yes.
Deborah's than mine. So each person is unique.
Yeah.
But I mean, every person is absolutely unique, and you have to sort of, and that's why and I think unique in the way they want to look. So whenever someone comes to my studio, I always say, wear your makeup the way that you normally do. Because I want to know, do you love makeup? Are you a little more trepidatious about makeup? Do you like a natural look? Do you want bright lips?
So as an artist, it helps you.
Well, yeah, because then I can sort of see what you like.
Yeah.
But then how are you doing it well?
So I want to come back to comfort zone because that's
Right.
related to confidence.
Right.
And I have to say, when I put those turquoise glasses on, I went, oh my God, I can't. They are
They felt
fabulous.
comfortable.
They are.
I'm not an insecure person. I'm fairly confident. But what I see with a lot of girlfriends in my snack bracket, in my age group, is confidence can change when you leave your corporate career. When your lifestyle changes, your confidence can either stabilize or trigger up and down. And I think it comes back to makeup and eyewear. If you think it's too bold, just put it on and try it among your friends. Would you recommend that?
I definitely recommend it with eyewear.
Okay.
But as long as we've matched your personality.
Got
So
it.
if someone is quite classic, they want to be understated, refined, and they have delicate features, and we put a big chunky frame, it's a complete disconnect to who they are. So it has to be authentic and congruent with who you are first, but then that overlap of personality, like I see people overlap 2 or 3 different styles as they move through their life. Not through their life just in age, but through their life in what they're doing on a
Right.
Wednesday and what they're doing on a Saturday and what they're doing on a Sunday. That changes. So big, bold, chunky's not for everyone. It has to be your style to be able to pull it off with confidence. And I'll use myself as an example. I'm in the eyewear business and I style people. So I always go big and bold. And there was a couple times where I needed to go to a funeral. So I thought I need a pair that back off a little bit. And I felt like a little old lady every time I put them on.
What were they?
They were still big and square, but they weren't chunky. And they
Okay.
weren't a dynamic color. They were a little more muted. And when I put them on, I don't feel like I'm
Me.
put together and I'm me. So that trying to move away from my authentic self in order to adapt to a situation didn't work. I can go to a funeral exactly like this, in color,
that's
in
you.
bold,
Yeah.
because it's me and I own that. So it doesn't look out of place. But if it's not your style, you kind of
Shrink.
you shrink your shoulder. You don't kind of
Yes.
stand as tall. It's like when you wear an outfit that's like, second guessing this all day long, then you're not your best self because all you're thinking about is yourself. So I'm like, put yourself together, get it right, do the makeup right, get the outfit right, get the glasses that are really, truly, when you put them on, you stand a little taller. Then you walk out and you can live your life and serve and think about other people and be engaged in your conversations. So you get you right, and then you can make the world right.
Well, and I actually have a question that'll go back to Deborah here.
Yeah.
Your glasses are awesome on you, but what really works is you've got a nice bold lip with it too. So my question is, I'm finding I always had trouble with lipstick. I think it's hereditary in my family. It seems to cause my lips to peel. Doesn't matter what formulation. But now I'm finding that it bleeds into the lines. Like, how do you make it stay?
Well, that's it.
I'm excited for this answer.
We're all with bated breath.
There's no magic formula, but I will say the more moisture in a lipstick,
Yeah.
the less time it's going to spend on your lips.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, your lipstick, I think, looks really nice. I like it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
It's lovely.
I got it right.
Yes, you did.
And the thing is, I always use lip stains. I never use lipstick. And because
That's
lip
what this
stains,
is.
I like something that stays on, that's dry.
Yes.
And the one that I use is good for your lips. Like it still will not be moisturizing, but it's not going to make your lips peel.
Which one do you use?
Well, I use Jane Iredale.
Okay.
And it's really good. Now,
I
I
like
did
Jane
use
Iredale.
another brand. I won't say. I actually tried another brand about a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was a stain, and I love the color, and I put it on. And within a week, my lip was really peeling.
Yep.
And
my goodness.
it's the only thing I changed was that. So I went right back to it. So even though it's still drying, any stain is going to be drying because there's not a lot of moisture, but it'll stay on your lips.
These are stains.
Yeah, and I love the stains, but you just got to get the right one that, like, I just find her colors are fabulous, and because the quality of the makeup.
Now, those are usually found at
Doctors' offices and spas.
Yes.
You cannot get it at.
No.
You can't get that
just anywhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't get it just anywhere. Which is, for me, I don't mind that because people come back and see me, and I like the quality of it.
Now, do you also use, because she does powder foundations and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Her powder foundations are probably the best I've ever used. I would not use any other one.
Okay.
So
That's
they're really good. I mean, I don't think my skin looks powdery.
no.
Your skin
Right.
looks beautiful.
And that's that. And I also have developed my own one product, a finishing powder, which I think works beautifully because it's got hyaluronic acid and pearl powder in it, which is really nice. And it's the thing about it is it's not. There's a couple of finishing powders, but they're a little bit too shiny for maybe for the people that are younger that want that real shiny look. I just want something that gives me a hint of glow.
Yep.
And this is camera friendly and everyday friendly.
So
I
the
use it on
pearlescence would give you that little bit of
a
glow.
little bit, just
Yeah.
enough, because I can use it on, because I work in film. So I use it on every woman that I do on camera.
Yeah, I must admit,
So-
the first time that I actually thought I had done my makeup absolutely stunning, I turned up at a film studio and it was like, we need powder to get rid of that shine.
Exactly.
It's like, well, thanks, guys. I was trying to be youthful.
Yeah, there's a fine line between shiny and sort of that oily. Oily.
So
My
to your
daughter does
point-
the shine.
Yeah.
And
Does
so I'm
she?
like, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
want
part of the
that. And then I do it, and it doesn't work
the
as
same,
well
no.
on me as
No.
it does on her.
It does not work on this demographic.
Yeah.
One of the takeaways that I got from today's episode is a bold look, bold frames, a bold lip, good brows.
Mhm.
That's what I got. What did you get out of this?
I think absolutely. I got that we don't stop
Yes.
in aging. I'm actually going to throw in that we
Color?
really, color in me. Mind you, having said that, I really like these. I'm quite
Me
drawn
too.
to those.
Yeah.
Now,
Now, so
put them on.
because this has got a wider bridge too, which is something that I need.
this
to
is
pay
really good because this is Pat in 30
Let's
minutes
see.
of getting used to color.
Oh God, yes.
They're gorgeous.
Yes.
That's very nice.
They're
Yeah.
fun.
You just
And you're perfect for Halloween, orange and black.
yeah, you don't
Oh,
want to
thank
do
you.
orange and black together.
No, I
But
wouldn't do orange and black.
what else happened there too, Pat, when you put it on? When Deborah talks about brows, the frame should mirror the shape of your brow. And that
Actually
lifts
does.
up and it cuts back down right where your arch cuts down. So now it looks easy left to right. There's no double line. So if we have a real arched brow and then you put a flat top frame on, you now have two design lines on the face and it can start to look a little comical.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
that's
And this also lifts. This
Okay.
lifts up
They
at the
look
side
right side.
cheekbones too.
Well, I like those. I hadn't seen them earlier.
I love them. And they're light,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're a nice light frame.
Yeah, if I went for any frame, it would be for that one.
The blue
Yeah,
one. I
the
can
blue
see
one.
that on you.
Yeah.
That's
really
sort of
can.
my,
And that-
that's a great
I
one.
love that
I
color.
love this.
As soon as we move into that round shape, it becomes more artsy, which is
Oh yes.
I love
These
I
are
love-
you. You're an artist.
yeah, and it's asymmetric.
And I love this. I've got
Yeah.
a couple of these ones. They're a fabulous brand, but
Yeah, where Pat
Okay.
might not even try on an asymmetric frame because that would be it wouldn't be linear enough and organized on the face. Where someone who's quite artsy, that they love that because they aren't going to look like anyone else. So Deborah wants a look that no one else can mimic. So she's creating her own trends, her own look, where someone who's more classic, sophisticated wants things a little more balanced and maybe a little less chunky. Where someone quite dramatic wants the bulk and wants some angles to it. So it's cool. Nailing that personality and then giving you a look that's quite unique, that isn't going to look like a black plastic or tortoiseshell plastic frame.
Well, one of the things when you ask what did I get out of this, a lot of women have spoken to me about feeling like they're not being seen, feeling like they've become part of the furniture.
Change your frames.
And well, part of this is it's more than just the change the frames. The frames are part of the message. Deborah?
I think, and this is what I believe, that makeup is self-care.
Yes. Yes.
Makeup is like getting up in the morning and brushing your
said.
teeth. It's really self-care. My background's in fitness. So I really believe in taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually. And makeup really is about self-care. Yeah. It's putting your best face forward.
I love that.
You know?
And your eyewear is truly a reflection of what is going on the inside.
Yes.
So if you're wearing basic frame that kind of blends in, that looks like everybody else's, then that's
you
kind of
blend in,
saying that you're blending, that I don't want to show up. So what's reflected on the outside is because of what's going on the inside and what your mindset is too.
I think so. And I think we need to lean into still being vibrant. Yeah. Or being vibrant. No still involved. Being vibrant.
I like that.
Being
forget
visible.
the still.
And I know you talk, I'm reading all about, I mean, it's not about,
I don't feel invisible, by the way.
It's not anti-aging or pro-aging. It's about just being your best where you are right now.
Yeah. Yes.
And moving forward and not looking back.
Yeah. It is. And it's choosing to own these years. We've written it and we've talked about it. If you're 65 today's woman, you've made it to 65. The chances are you're going to make it to 95. That's 30 years.
So enjoy it.
It's like you want to enjoy it. Yes.
Live well.
You want to be, you want those to be fun.
And you want to keep moving. That's, got to keep moving. I mean, you're in amazing shape. I mean, I just think it's all about moving, right? I mean, fitness is key.
Yeah. I love this, looking after yourself. And now, hopefully, we have a little more time to look after ourselves. None of us are retired.
Yeah, well, we all keep doing stuff.
We all keep doing stuff. But what's changed for me is because I don't work the traditional 9 to 5, or actually 9 to 9 in our business, Monday to Friday, is I now have more time I can devote time in my day to do some yoga, to work out, to do some weight training. That matters to me.
Yeah, me. Yeah.
But I like that comment that you made about makeup, that it is self-care.
Yeah, it's taking care.
There was one more piece that I took away, and that is because I do have some sun damage, which I have covered up today with makeup. Yeah. Because for the reasons that Pat expressed earlier, anytime I don't like wearing foundation. It feels uncomfortable. So I'm thinking I have the wrong one, even though I've been to many cosmeticians who have said, get this one, get this one, get this one. Just keep trying it, because maybe our skin changes more frequently than we care to admit.
And it's really the color too, because
the colors
are, it's just really tricky, I think, to go to a department store as we're older. Because they're mandated to sell.
There are no department stores.
Or even Sephora. They're mandated to sell certain things.
Yes.
And they're all young girls there.
Yes.
They're all young girls there. And they don't know anything about undertone. Here's the thing. Makeup artists, a lot of them work intuitively.
Yes.
So intuitive is good, but
they're not trained.
They're not trained in makeup. Even when I'm working in film, we look at warm and cool, but you're not doing makeup and film for that person. You're doing it for, like, I was
The role.
working yesterday. We were doing 1925 makeup, and I was doing Cupid lips and these skinny brows, and it was really fun to do, but that's not real life,
Mhm.
So in real life, you really want to match your foundation up to your skin tone. You want to know if you're a cool or you're a warm. And I think you have to go to someone that can really look at your skin tone and undertone to really get that right color.
That's
And then
actually,
the formulation is, there's different formulations. Some people want full
I've
coverage
noticed.
and some people don't want full coverage. And I cover all that spectrum. So
So BB creams have become very popular in the last 10 years, it seems, and I think that's because of the shift in demographics, with boomers being the largest
right.
population segment.
But but the thing is with BB and CC creams, it's like there's not a real definition of what they are.
Okay, I
Right?
just found
So
them more lighter, more moisturizing.
Whereas Jane Iredale had BB creams that were much heavier. So I found every different brands would have a different idea of what BB and CC creams are.
So this is very personal.
Yeah,
This is extremely one-on-one.
Yeah, it's one-on-one.
Take the time,
take the
speak
time
to a
to sit in-
professional or more than one.
Yeah, yeah.
but it's a really valuable point. Again, going back to somebody who is your contemporary.
Yes, that I think is the biggest
that
thing.
Understands the challenges that you are facing. And since unfortunately, even though we have products these days that are designed for mature skin, or they're being told that they are for mature skin, they're still being advertised on
18-year-olds,
Yeah.
20 to 13-year-olds. You look at Chanel in the magazine, there's a 13-year-old with a serum on, and you're going,
why?
90% of the women that come to me tell me what they don't like about themselves.
Yes.
Oh, the
And I
switch and
think
thing.
That's so woman-like.
It is such, and this happens. They tell me what they don't like, and I'll go, you know what? Then and most of it's all of the eye bags and all this, and then we'll do the makeup. Not a word is ever spoken about those eye bags again. Why? Because if all you ever do is concentrate on what you don't like, that's all you're ever going to see.
Yes.
So you got to bait and switch.
And that plays into confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, you've just got to bring out your best features. You can't worry about what you don't like because you can't change it.
Yes.
As we get older, there's a certain acceptance, and then just play up what you love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the eyewear, even if that is an issue for some and you want to build that confidence, we actually look at that when I'm fitting eyewear too, and make sure that frame lands at the exact same spot as that circle. And now it's completely masked. And they can see the difference when we change shape, where
that's very good.
if one's really deep, they can see the circle, and then I just modify it a bit, and now it's in line, and you can't see it at all. It's completely masked.
See, that's great.
And that
I like that.
builds confidence, but it's being able to communicate, I think, what we're doing, why we're doing it specifically for you, and why it's working or not working for you, and especially in the eyewear, because you'll see a trend, like the big oversized 80s metal gold wire frame,
Right, yeah.
big trend. It's all over Instagram. You put that on a 60-year-old woman, we look like we are 80.
Retro.
Like we add
Too retro.
we add 20 years.
Granny.
Yeah. So it works. So different trends work for different ages too.
That's
and
something to
good
be
point.
aware of.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's
this
great.
just proves that women get together, we can chat forever.
Yes.
So I think this has been lovely. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining
Yeah.
us
What a
today.
great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us today on Next Chapter Chats. We can direct our viewers to your websites on our website.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Perceptions Eyewear and Grace Makeup. What a fabulous conversation.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my new glasses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please follow and share. Share it with friends and leave us a review so that other women can find the show in the community. We have a website. It's nextchapterchats.com. So NEXT CHPTR chats, CHATS.com. If you go to the website, you can find all the podcasts directly there. But you can also sign up for our newsletter and to be part of the community. We do send out a newsletter every week. All things that every woman should be interested in because we're talking about us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
This was
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
That was fun.
Conquer the stairs. Elevate your life with a stair lift. Home Stairlift wants you to be safe in the home you love. We offer new or pre-owned stair lifts, buy or rent options, a 5-year warranty, and we'll even buy it back. Call or visit us today at homestairlift.com.